From East Egg, then came Chester Beckers and the Leeches, a man named Bunsen, whom I knew at Yale, and Dr. Webster Savett, who was drowned last summer up in Maine, and the Hornbeams and Willie Walters, and a whole clan named Black Buck, who always gathered in a corner and flipped up their noses like goats at whoever came near. And the Ismays and the Christies, or rather Hubert Arbach and Mr. Christie's wife, and Edgar Beaver, whose hair, they say, turned cotton white one winter afternoon for no good reason at all. Clarence Endive was from East Egg, as I remember. He came only once, in white knickerbockers, and had a fight with a bum named Etty in the garden. From farther out on the island came the Cheetles and the ORP Schraders, and the Stonewall Jackson Abrams of Georgia, and the Fishguards and the Ripley Snells. Snell was there 3 days before he went to the penitentiary, so drunk out of the gravel drive that Mrs. Ulysses Sweat's automobile ran over his right hand. The Danceys came too, and S.B. Whitebait, who was well over 60, and Maurice A. Flink, and the Hammerheads, and Beluga, the tobacco importer, and the Beluga girls. From West Egg came the Poles and the Mulreadys, and Cecil Roebuck and Cecil Schroen, and Gulick, the state senator, and Newton Orchid, who controlled films par excellence in Eckhost and Clyde Cohen, and Don S. Schwartz, the son, and Arthur McCarty, all connected with the movies in one way or another, and the Catlips, and the Bambergs, and G. Earl Muldoon, brother to that Muldoon who afterwards strangled his wife. Da Fontano, the promoter, came there, and Ed Legros, and James B. Rotgut, Ferret, and the Dejans, and Ernest Lilly. They came to gamble, and when Ferret wandered into the garden, it meant he was cleaned out, and Associated Traction would have fluctuated profitably next day. A man named Klipspringer was there so often and so long that he became known as the Border. I doubt if he had any other home. Of theatrical people, there was Gus Wise and Horace O'Donovan, and Lester Meyer, and George Duckweed, and Francis Bull. Also from New York were the Crones, and the Buckhissens, and the Danekers, and Russell Betty, and the Corrigans, and the Kelligers, and the Dewars, and the Scullys, and S.W. Belcher, and the Smirks, and the Young Quins, divorced now, and Henry L. Palmetto, who killed himself by jumping in front of a subway train in Times Square. Benny McKellen arrived always with 4 girls. They were never quite the same ones in physical person, but they were so identical with one another that inevitably seemed they had been there before. They had forgotten their names. Jacqueline, I think, or else Consuela, or Gloria, or Judy, or June. Flowers and Months, or the sterner ones of the great American capitalist whose cousins, if pressed, they would confess themselves to be. In addition to all these things, I can remember that Fautista O'Brien came there at least once, and Baedeker girls, and young Brewer, who had his nose shot off in the war, and Mr. Elsbrucksberger, and Miss Haig, his fiancée, and Ardita Fitzpeters, and Mr. P. Jewett, once head of the American Legion, and Miss Claudia Hip, with a man reputed to be a chauffeur, and a prince of something, whom we called Duke. and whose name, if I never knew it, I have forgotten. All these people came to Gatsby's house in the summer. At 9 o'clock one morning, late in July, Gatsby's gorgeous ear lurched up the rocky drive to my door and gave out a burst of melody from a three-noted horn. It was the first time he had called on me, though I had gone to 2 of his parties. Mounted in his hydroplane, and at his urgent invocation, made frequent use of his beach.